Hi everyone, this is Ankur from Coding Ninjas. Wish you all a very good evening. I hope all of you are safe and keeping healthy. Please let me know in the comments section if we are audible as well as visible so that we can get started with this amazing webinar that I'm really excited about. Still waiting for comments. All right. Anuj says yes. Rajat says yes. All right. Perfect. Once again, a very good evening, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. This is Ankur from Coding Rangers, and we have with us a very special guest today. Most of you might already be aware since he has been with us on quite a few webinars previously as well. Please welcome Roshni Kesavan. She's working as FD with Microsoft, and she will be here to address all your queries to help you understand how to build a very good profile on your LinkedIn. Hi, Roshni. Welcome to the webinar.
Hey Ankur, thank you so much for the introduction. Hello everyone. I'm just curious to understand what are the places and what are the different colleges that you guys are joining from? Like, that'll be a very interesting thing to know. Let us know in the comment sections to see where you guys are from, which place, which school. We just want to gauge like what kind of different audience we have. And first of all, thank you so much for all the responses we had in the LinkedIn profile section. I think a lot of you uploaded your LinkedIn profile for review. Ankur is figuring out, I think he has figured out like 5 profiles that we can review today. Like, hopefully, there is enough time, fingers crossed on that.
Yep,
So,
sir.
yeah,
All right, the
thank you so much,
chats
guys,
have
for
started
joining us.
flowing in, Roshni. There are students from MIT Pune, Tech Chandigarh. Uh, there's Umakant from Odisha Engineering College. There's Aditya from Chitkara University in Punjab. There are folks from IIT Kharagpur. Hey there. And we have people from CEC Karnataka as well. Oh, wow. So there are people from all across India, I suppose. Wow,
That's
amazing.
quite a diverse audience. That's what we like here. It's very nice to hear your opinions as well. So let us know after the webinar what could have been done better, what we're doing good. That would be great for the feedback as well. Yeah, good. Whenever you're ready, we can get started.
Yeah, sure. I'm really excited. As I mentioned before, this is quite one of a kind webinar, I would say, that we have over here. And the audience is really diverse. They're still entering the college teams over there. Hey, folks, thank you so much. We'll get started with the webinar. I'll quickly tell you how we'll be proceeding with it, the agenda for tonight's webinar, and we will always, have time for your questions at the end of it. Oh, there's someone from JP University as well. Hey there, I'm from JP University as well. So, yeah. So, the way we'll proceed with it is Roshni will take you through a few tips and tricks on how to build a good LinkedIn profile. Post that, we will pick up a few profiles from all the entries that we have got. We have received more than 100. We have received hundreds of entries, and it was really tough going through all of those profiles. And we have shortlisted a few of them. Uh, it will depend upon how much time we have, and we will be reviewing those live on this webinar. Post that, we will take up your questions, anything that you have that we haven't covered, or even if we have, we would be happy to help you. Yeah. So, Roshni, shall we begin?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Let me quickly share my screen and then you guys can let me know when you can see it. I
Yep, the
always
screen
have
is
a
visible.
mild panic. Yeah,
Sorry.
I always have a mini panic before I start presenting my screen. I'm always like, I hope I've closed everything else. I have just the right tabs on. So, yeah, let me know if you guys can see the content that you're supposed to be seeing. Uh,
That's visible, Roshni. Yep, yep.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ankur. Yeah. So as always, like one thing that I really like doing is making the presentation very catchy, calling it 10 tips. So we're just going to walk through like a bunch of tips. And one thing I want you guys to know is this is not an exhaustive list of tips. We have more coming up on the Coding Ninjas channel. So make sure you are subscribed to that channel right now. We're going to be covering 10 of the most important tips to get started on a good LinkedIn profile. So let's start with the first one. The first one's going to be about the profile picture. We're going to start from like sort of a flow, from the beginning of your profile. The first thing that you notice about anyone's profile is their profile picture, right? So with a profile picture per se, there are only very few rules. One thing is keep it professional. It should be a headshot and it should have a neutral background. So a lot of times what I'm seeing is a lot of people have really cool selfies in their LinkedIn profile pictures, right? So what I would really like to see more of is just like a clean headshot. Have someone else take the picture for you and then have a clean background. Make sure your picture is clear. It shouldn't be blurred. Like make sure your face is in focus. That is the most important thing. Another thing is make sure the picture is current. It shouldn't be a picture from like 5 years ago or like 10 years ago. A lot of people have pretty outdated profile pictures, so make sure you have like an updated photo. So a lot of people are concerned about like privacy as well. Like people do not like uploading their picture on LinkedIn. So one thing that I just wanted to put across here is that it's absolutely up to you, but apparently people with a profile photo actually get 21 times more profile views than members without a profile photo. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like when you're searching for someone and you find someone with a picture and then one without, you wouldn't know who you're connecting with, and like it's also a little like you don't know if this is like a credible profile or not. But this is absolutely up to you. If you have privacy concerns, it's okay to not have a profile photo, but like I told you, people with profile photos actually have 21 times more views, and the more profile views, you know that you get more opportunities. Um, so yeah, that is one thing that I wanted to put across about profile photo. In the next one, we're going to be looking at the open to work frame. A lot of people have now been putting up the open to work frame on, or like you can call this a filter on your profile photo. This makes it more easier for recruiters to know that you are actually open to opportunities. So in the next slide, you'll be actually seeing the video on how to upload this. Oops, sorry guys, just give me 1 second.
Meanwhile, everyone, please keep pouring in your questions on the chat box, and we'll get to your questions after we are done reviewing the profiles. I already see a few questions popping up on my screen.
Okay, I'm so sorry about this. Can you guys still see my screen properly if it's in this view? Like, looks like I need
Yes,
to
it's
have it in
visible.
this view.
It's visible, yes.
Okay.
I think you stopped sharing.
Yeah, there seems to be a slight problem with the media, so I'm trying to understand what's going on. I think there always needs to be something that goes wrong in the demo. Okay, for now, let me just move forward and then we can come back to the videos
Yep,
just so that
yep.
I have everybody's time interest. Um, Worst case, we can always have this go up on our channel. So stay tuned for that. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So the next tip that I have for you guys is about the headlines. So something as important as the profile photo is the headline. When you create a new LinkedIn profile, your headline is automatically defaulted to your current position or whatever position was your last held, right? But there are a few other alternate ways that people have started using their headlines. One thing is you can use it to promote like an area of expertise that you have. Whenever you're promoting your area of expertise, don't forget to use industry keywords. For instance, when you look at this, this is Alex Kipmans. He's one of my favorites. He's a technical fellow at Microsoft. And if you look at this, his headline says AI and mixed reality. That is his industry. That is something that he's passionate about. So one thing about headlines is whenever you set this one, wherever you post it, it comes right here. So, for example, it says when you post something, Ali K. Miller, Forbes AI Inventor or Innovator of the Year. So that is the headline, and this sticks with you like wherever you post something as well. So a headline is as important as like a profile picture because all of this is what makes your first impression. So one thing that you can definitely do is describe your area of expertise. You can use it to describe like a unique skill. For example, he is an author and then he's put in like all of his books here. And then another thing that you can do is describe something that you're passionate about. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you're working on right now, but it could be something that you're passionate about. For example, you could just say passionate about AI. So what people do usually to separate this is they separate using like their different roles and their passions through like a standard bars over here. So yeah, headline, like I told you, always shows alongside your name. So make sure that is something that describes you. That is like a branding for you. So make sure you take good care of that as well. So that's about headline. The next thing that we're going to go through is like the about section. About section is pretty simple. It is like the top part of your profile. It's where you put in like your introduction. So you can call this to be like an introduction card that tells the entire world about like your mission and motivation. So you should remember it's the first thing that people see. And when they see this, they should get to know you in a glance. So ideally, your about section should just be limited to one or two paragraphs. Another thing that you can keep in mind when writing the about section is it should clearly introduce yourself. It should, display your current professional status. It should spotlight your experience and your skills. And whenever you're putting in your experience and skill, remember to use industry keywords, right? I keep highlighting that a lot because it's very easy for people to search for your profile using those keywords. And in general, you just need to talk about what is the job that you're interested in. This is especially useful when you're open to work and you're looking for opportunities. So the about section, must be a combination of all of this, and make sure you're not ranting there. It should just be, comfortably put into one or two paragraphs. If you're not comfortable putting in paragraphs, you can just put it in bullet points as well. So that is something that people feel is good. Um, yeah, so that is about the about section. Next, we're going to a section called the accomplishments. So this I feel like most people are not good at putting forward because as a society, I think we are taught to be very humble about the different accomplishments that we have. But remember, your resume and LinkedIn is not the place for you to be humble about your accomplishments. Showcasing your accomplishments helps you stand out from all the different candidates that are there as your competition. You can see accomplishment has like a bunch of different options. It has publications, patents, it has like courses, projects, honors and awards, test score, language, organization. It has so many different things that you can different categories for you to put in your accomplishments. What I've mostly seen is most people have like a publication, and not so many people have patents. But in case if you have publications and patents, definitely put them with your URLs. That is a really nice thing to build your credibility as well. It shows that, hey, I'm not just telling, but I actually have the backup to prove that this exists. So you can see that like there are a ton of options here. So make sure you put in the maximum use out of the accomplishment section. This is a really good way to make your profile stand out. Every person is unique, and I believe that most of it is because of the different accomplishments we've had in our life, right? So the next tip is about presenting projects. So one thing that I always insist about projects is showcase your unique projects more than projects that you've completed for courses or projects that you've copied from another GitHub profile and you've put in here, right? So just make sure your projects are super unique. Otherwise, like, normal course projects and projects that, you've taken from the GitHub profile, everybody else is going to have that as well. And that doesn't create a really good impression, because people who are interviewing you or recruiters or whoever is landing on your profile will also know the projects that are repeated or projects that they've seen already, especially if that project is in the domain of the recruiter, right? So one thing that can make your profile stand out is making use of the featured section. I don't know if a lot of you have seen this. A featured section lets you, put in your posts, articles, links, media, and this is a great place to put in like all of your media. A lot of people don't know how to upload their resume on your LinkedIn profile, so this is a place you can use the media documents to upload your profile. So you can even create like posts and articles about your project and have that published. You can have GitHub links to your project. So that is in the link section. You can see that I've actually put in an example here for the GitHub profile. A lot of you are web developers from what I saw in the Excel sheet. So you can upload your UI portfolio, guys. If you're a web developer, definitely have like a UI portfolio if that is like your core niche. So you can upload your UI portfolio. You can even have like videos and everything uploaded through the media section. So there is a lot of things that you can do, even if you're just like a full stack developer. If you've ever developed like any hosted site, you can have the links to that over here. The opportunities for this is endless. This is a great way to showcase your work and all the additional projects that you have. And it's like people can know in a glance that you worked on a lot of additional things. So yeah, if you want to know more about how to leverage the featured section, wait for the two-part LinkedIn series that's coming up on Coding Ninja. I've explained in detail about that over there. So that's it for like how to put in your projects. The next step is going to be about work experiences. One thing about projects and work experiences, these are the things that actually shows the quality of work. So make sure your work experience is very clear. One thing that I talk about work experience in general is it needs to talk about your impact. You just can't say, oh, this is what I did, or this is what our team is. So in a lot of resumes as well, not just in LinkedIn profiles, you just see that, oh, this is the team that I worked in and this is the work that we do. But that's not enough. That's not what recruiters are looking for. They're actually looking for what is the impact that you created, right? So a lot of people are like, so how do I write this impact? There are three things. One thing is, in case if you worked on like good optimization work, you can talk about numbers. You can talk about percentages and reduction of cost or memory or runtime or whatever it is. Next thing you can talk about is in case if you worked on automation, you can talk about how many man hours you've reduced. Also, if you worked on any key feature, you can talk about what is the customer adoption. Some of you are sitting there and like, I've not worked on any of these. Then the best way to know that is go and talk to your colleagues or your manager about what is the impact of your work. Always remember one thing: if there is no business need for the work that you're doing, you won't be doing that work at all, right? There is a reason why you've been assigned that work. There is a cost assigned to that work, and you've been put on that work, right? So there is always a business impact. It's just about figuring out what it is. Um, so yeah, these are a few ways by which you can describe the impact of your work. So featured section also allows you to showcase the samples of your work. We saw the featured section in the earlier slide. So yeah, if you have any work that's not like NDA bound, if it's something that you can put forward, like any open source that you've contributed to or anything of that sort, that's something that you want to put in your featured section as well. This is a great way to provide evidence of your skills and your experience. So try and see if you can leverage the featured section. So one thing about adding work experience, if you guys haven't put in like the description for it, adding work experience actually gives your profile 8 times more views. I put in all those numbers because I want you guys to understand the importance of having the different tips like actually fulfilled, like the different parts of your LinkedIn profile actually completed. So this actually gives you 8 times more views, and like I always say, more views the more opportunities. So definitely make sure you elaborate on your work experience. Don't just say like this company from this time to this time. I am guilty of doing this as well. I take a really long time to update my profile on the work that I've been doing. But in case if you're actively looking for opportunities, remember this is one place that you definitely want to keep updated. So one quick caveat about work experience, a lot of people actually artificially inflate their experience section. Just make sure you don't do that. There's no point in like inflating your work experience here, and then when you go to the interview, you actually do not have like enough content to actually pass the interview, right? That creates a very bad impression. You might as well like put in the right amount of work experience and have the right amount of documentations to back that up, and the right amount of experience to actually answer the interview questions. So do not ever artificially inflate your experience section. It doesn't do you any good. um, so that's about work experience. And of course, when we're talking about work experience, the next thing that goes hand in hand is your education details. Not there's nothing much about education details per se. It should just be filled in the descending chronological order. So if you've done your master's, bachelor's, and then your school, so it should be master's followed by bachelor's followed by your school. So just make sure it's in the descending chronological order. In case if you're someone who's done masters, don't forget to include your thesis, the courses you've undertaken, because masters usually goes with a specialization, right? So if you're from a university that actually has very specialized courses for bachelor's itself, and then if you have thesis in your bachelor's itself, put that in as well. One reason that is important is because it makes your profile unique. Specializations are something that carve out the niche, so it's very important for you to put out all of this. These also sort of act as keywords. So I think these are very important things that you can put in, especially if you've done your masters and if you have like thesis and like special courses that you've taken up as part of carving your niche. Again, one thing that I told about work experience is the same thing that I'm talking about education as well. Don't artificially inflate it. If you've taken up courses that like you really don't understand, it's just something that you passively went through, don't put in all of that over here. Just make sure that you keep both your work experience and your education details as accurate as possible, right? So the next step is going to is again going to be a video about how you can create a customized profile URL, and I am worried that the video may not show up. Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. For some reason, it says I cannot play the video. Something's wrong with that. But I'll make sure that I upload both of these videos, and then I'll make sure I have it uploaded. So, in most cases, what I wanted to say is if you go to this more section, there is a way you can just edit your profile URL. Sometimes it might show up here as well. You can edit your public or profile URL. You can have that shortened. So one thing about a shortened profile URL is that it serves no actual purpose per se, but when you use the link in a website or in a resume resume, it just looks aesthetically pleasing. That's about it. But this is like, that one final touch you can actually have. So one thing that I want to point out is if you do not have like a customized profile URL, you'd have something like this. There'll be like a number towards the end of your profile. Whereas if you do have like a customized profile URL, you can basically control what this name portion of it is. You can have that to accurately reflect your profile name. Yep. So the next step that we're going to have is about skills and endorsements, and I feel like this is a very, very important section. So yeah, as the numbers here like very boldly claim, there are a bunch of great uses for having your skills added. Let me quickly walk through like what skills and endorsement is. So you can basically go and search for specific skills on your LinkedIn profile, and you can add that to your profile if that is something that you're really good at. It is a great way to showcase your strengths for whoever lands on your LinkedIn profile, right? It could be your peers, colleagues, managers, or even recruiters. So once you've added a skill to your profile, your first degree connections will be able to validate these skills for you. So that is called a skill endorsement. So if you can see, there are like a bunch of people who like endorse these skills, right? So when someone endorses your skill, it actually contributes to the strength of your profile. It basically increases the likelihood that you will be discovered for opportunities. So basically, more the number of endorsements, the more strong your profile is in terms of being discovered for different opportunities. One good thing about skills endorsements is that you don't need to request for it. Um, you can basically any connection can actually endorse one of your skills. Couple of good things about skill endorsements is that you can have like if you have more than 3 skills on your skill section, your skills will be categorized. So I don't know if all of you know, but like your skills get categorized into industry knowledge, tools and technologies, interpersonal skills, and other skills. So that is pretty amazing. And apparently, people with 5+ skills get 27 times more messages from recruiters. And I see that as a pretty obvious thing. Like, even if the number is not accurate, it might change over time. But adding skills to your profile basically just it's like the tools and technologies section of your resume. It's very easy for people to know what you're proficient in and what is something that sets you apart. What are you unique? What is your unique niche that they're looking for? And they can quickly see if their qualifications actually matches with your skill sets. So yeah, definitely go in and fill these skills. One thing you need to know is you can only add a maximum of 50 skills to your profile. I'm pretty sure most of us can um, curtail our skills to 50. These are going to be like your most important ones. So if you have a lot of skills, make sure you put it down to 50. So yeah, that's about skills and endorsement. The next one is going to be about recommendations, and this is like fairly a very important one and it goes like hand in hand with your work experience. So you can ask your connections to write recommendations for your work. And this, unlike the skills endorsement, is something that you need to ask or request people. So recommendation can be a praise or a criticism. So you need to be careful about like who you're requesting the recommendation for. So yeah, it is actually an actual reflection of your work. Someone is giving you like a criticism or a praise for your work experience. Once someone gives you a recommendation, though, you can accept it or dismiss it or ask them for a revision in their recommendations. So just request and then you can figure out if you want to accept it or dismiss it or ask them to revise something. So those options are available as well. There is also no limit on the number of recommendations you can request. There is also no limitation on the number of recommendations you give. So ask as many people as you can. This, like you can see in this example, it's a very great way for your colleagues to actually give you this sort of praise. It again, like everything that you're putting in your LinkedIn profile is basically to build credibility and to show your skills and experiences. So this is a great way again to build credibility of your profile. Um, so basically, like you can see, this concludes the 10 tips of creating a LinkedIn profile. Did you guys enjoy it? Oh, just kidding. There's one more. One last bonus tip. The last bonus tip that we have is the profile strength meter. So you must have seen like when seen this when you opened a new LinkedIn profile. It basically shows whether your profile strength is like in beginner level or intermediate level. So it basically gauges the completeness of your profile. So it should typically, this profile strength will be below your top card information, and then you can hover over the meter or like move around the meter to figure out what are the different steps that you need to complete to increase the strength of your profile. It's very simple to increase the strength of your profile. Just go through this different steps that are there and then fill in everything that it's asking you to. This is a really good way to make your profile much more stronger. I think all of the tips that I've told above will apply to this strength meter as well. So once the meter is full, all your prompts are complete, you will receive like an all-star profile rating. So if you haven't had that yet, it's because like there are a bunch of things that is remaining in your profile that needs to be completed. My 2 cents on this: give as much information as you can. This will really improve the strength and credibility of your profile. So yeah, that's for all the tips on creating LinkedIn profile in this webinar. Like I told you, there are more coming up in the YouTube videos on the Coding Ninjas channel. So yep, that's about it for now. Back to you, Ankur.
Thank you so much, Roshni. Thank you so much. Wow, did we just cover like 10 full points in like 25 minutes? Wow. I guess you are
Yep.
as eager to
Did I?
dive into the profiles as I am, right?
Very, very interesting to see that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Uh,
For everyone who just joined in, we just covered 10 tips on how to improve your LinkedIn profile. You can always go back to a recorded video and go through those pointers. Next, we will be evaluating a few profiles of our students who submitted their profile links to us via the Google form. And let's see what we have got. Roshni, you want to say something?
yeah. No, I was just telling I'm pretty excited to go through these as well. Thank you so much for sending all the responses. That was really nice of you guys. A lot of people are very shy of sharing their profiles, but I was pretty happy to see so many of you were interested. Now, one thing that I want to start even before like reviewing your profile is that most of the points apply to my profile as well. So right after this meeting, if you go back and check my profile, I'm pretty sure there are a few things I'm lacking as well. So whatever I'm giving is for an ideal LinkedIn profile. So take it with a pinch of salt. Yeah, whatever criticisms that I'm providing, I'm gonna be like super mellow about it. So don't worry. Like nobody have like a panic right now. It's all gonna be fine. Um, Let me know as soon as you can see my screen.
Yep, the screen is visible, Roshni. So the first profile that we'll be going through is of Meghna Kedari. Meghna is a student of
Yay,
Singhad
Midna.
Institute. Yay. Meghna is a student of Singhad Institute of Business Administration and Research, and she has 0 years of experience as of now. The reason we chose this profile is because a lot of students currently have, asked in a chat section that if we could tell them how to build a profile if they're a fresher, basically with no
Yep,
prior
perfect.
experience or internship experience. Yeah. So I guess this is a profile that we can go through and we can, just discuss how we can improve this particular profile.
Absolutely. This is like a really good selection. So One thing that's like I'm gonna start from top down. One thing about profile pictures that I was telling earlier as well, try to avoid selfies. Like in most of the LinkedIn profiles that I've seen, is a lot of people have selfies. Just have someone take your photo, stand in like next to your wall or next to a neutral background, and then just take a headshot picture that looks more professional. Coming to the this is called like the headline, right? Student at Singhal Institute of Business Administration and Research. I think this is good enough. It just tells that she is a student and then she's talking about where she's from. That's good enough. The locations are updated. So one thing about education is, like I was talking to you, if you have masters, right, there is some specialization that you've done. Something that can set you apart is definitely adding like what was your thesis, and in case if you don't have your thesis, what is the different like specialized courses that you've taken. That really helps. Another thing that you can definitely add to your profile is the different skill sets. So what are the different skills that you have? That is something that you can add even before um, having work experience. That doesn't necessarily mean that. Another thing that you can add is like a featured section. I'm pretty sure like there could at least be one thing in your featured section, which is your resume, right? So in this profile, I can't see the resume, which makes it more difficult to figure out like what is it that actually sets you apart. So skills and like putting in your resume any projects that you've done that's relevant, that can all be put in here. Another thing that's pretty underrated is volunteer experience. So in case if you don't have like work experience, that you can definitely include volunteer experience in case you have that. Um, Another thing that you can have is recommendations. And of course, if you add skills, you can also add endorsements. So recommendation doesn't necessarily have to be only from your colleagues. It could be in case if you're doing your thesis with somebody, it could even be a recommendation from someone that you worked with over that. At the end of the day, you're just working on a project with someone that would add a lot of benefit as well. Um, these are a few things on the top of my mind that you could include in your profile. Do you want to go to the next one, Ankur?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. So the next profile that I have on my list is Amarjot Singh. Amarjot is a student of, uh, he graduated from Baring Union Christian College and he is currently working. So he has the work experience in the range of 1 to 2 years, and he has shared his profile link with us.
Yeah.
Yep, that's his
Hey,
profile.
one thing that I want to quickly say, like if you're a fresher and if you're like open to opportunities, don't forget to put that filter over here and also fill in your about section. That's something that I quickly remembered when I went to Amarjot. Like put in like fill in your about section. That's something that you can still do. But yeah, moving over to Amarjot, right? So it's starting off pretty well. Like the profile picture is pretty clear. I really like the way he's put in all his skills over here. That's really good for a fresher as well. In case if you don't have like a work experience, you can always put in like the skill set you have here. That's pretty interesting. Um, in the about section, he has like a short description about who he is, what his experience is. That is pretty good as well. He has a really cool featured section. He has created an e-commerce website. Isn't this amazing? I'm just going through his profile and I already know so much about him. He's created an e-commerce profile and then he's created an entertainment app. He's created a responsive mobile website. These are pretty good. So it looks like he's like a mobile app developer and he's also good with websites because he knows how to create like a responsive website as well as a responsive app. This is pretty cool. So he's more on the so when he says he's a full stack engineer, I can see that in like the featured section. He's put in like enough things to back that up. Amarjot, for you, you can also put in your resume in case if you're looking for any opportunities. You can also put in the filter. You can put in your GitHub profile so that I would know what is the backend for all of that. I don't want to click on this. I think like all of this might lead to like a post or your app, but whatever it is, it's pretty amazing. You have a bunch of reactions for that as well. That's pretty cool. The activity section, yeah, just make sure your comments like make sense because I can see your activity section, but yeah, this is fine. One thing that you can do is you have an experience as a full stack engineer in Walter, so you can put in like what are the different things that you did here. And one thing I was talking about work experience is make sure you show the impact. Just having your role and your the company alone won't do. Have a description of what you did there, what impact you created, and that would be really nice to see. Um, Again, for your internship as well in Pearl Institute, you can fill in the same thing. Education, you have a bachelor's degree, so in case if there was any thesis you did or like any special courses that you took, you can put that in as well. For example, if you have like any web designing courses or anything of that sorts, you can put that in. Skills and endorsements. Let me quickly see this. Oh, that's pretty cool. So he has more than three plus skills. So he has the categorization, and it's pretty cool that he's received endorsements for HTML and Bootstrap. So there's at least one other person who thinks that he is good with the front end. Um, the accomplishment section, pretty cool. He has this as well. He has all of his projects and he has detailed descriptions for this. Very interesting. Now that I see this, I just wonder why you don't have like work experience description. Like you put in a lot of thought into like your projects. You could do the same thing for like your work experience as well. Then you
Probably
have
he didn't get
language, you
much
have
time after he
interests.
joined work.
I think so too. I think that's all of us. I think that's something that I do as well. I keep postponing it until the next time I'm looking for an opportunity to fill that up.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, like whenever you're open to an opportunity, just don't forget to fill this up. Yep. Moving on. The next one, Ankur.
Yep. So the next profile that we have shortlisted is Aditya Chitlangia. So Aditya
Mhm.
graduated from Vellore Institute of Technology this year itself, and he's a fresher, I believe. Yes. No, he's currently working with Cerner Corporation, so he has some
Great.
experience, and he was kind enough to
Mhm.
share his profile link with us via the Google form. So over to you, Roshni.
Yep. So yeah, like at this point, I think it's almost the same things. One thing I cannot see is, of course, like the about section. If I want to know about you, like in a personalized way, I think about section really helps. So, Aditya, first thing for you is definitely have an about section. Um, Second thing is experience, like put in more information in your experience section. You have like a pretty good experience of like it's gonna be close to a year. So I think this is like around the time when you can upload what experience you've had. You also had your internship, which is pretty amazing because he's uploaded his internship certificate. He's also like described about what his internship was about. Um, One thing that I keep telling is you see how it is like a description about what the project is as opposed to what you exactly did and what impact it created. So that would be something that you want to look at. Like, why is it like, why is it unique? What is your contribution to this? Because in internships, I know like in a single project, multiple people work, or even if this is something that you worked all by yourself, that is something that you want to mention here as well, and then talk about like what were the things that were there before and how is this different, and talk about like different numbers, like who adopted it, like how it can be adopted and different things like that. Yeah, this is pretty cool though. You've been a student ambassador as well. Again, that's something that would be really nice to see what contributions you had there, like what were you doing as a student ambassador. Same thing with like Intershala student partner as well. Like I do see that you're like a representative, but then like what were the different things that you were doing here? Um, but it's nice you've at least uploaded like the certificates for everything. That is really nice. Um, education is like it's correctly ordered. There's also volunteering experience, and this is something that I see very less, but this is like a pretty cool thing to do. He was in marketing. See how different it is because he's an engineer and then he has like a marketing volunteering experience. It's like different skill sets. So definitely don't undermine your volunteering experience. That's something that will definitely add to the character of your profile. I really like this. Skills and endorsements again. I think he has like 3+ skills, which is why it has categorized it. There are no endorsements, so if you can like talk to your friends or your colleagues who are your first connections, and if you could ask them to endorse your skills, that will be really nice. But yeah, this aligns with the company that you're working in. Obviously, your industry knowledge would be around healthcare because you're working in Cerner, image processing and computer vision all makes sense for like the company that you're working in. So this makes absolute sense. And one thing about like putting in your industry knowledge is also when you're interviewing for the next company in the same domain, all of this is going to give you a cutting edge. Imagine there are just two software engineers who are applying for this, but you are one person who has domain knowledge because of the experience, you get an added advantage. So definitely this skills gives you an extra edge. Yeah, then you have communication and then other skills. Definitely put in your core coding technologies and like languages skill set as well, so that will also help in addition to your industry knowledge. um, in accomplishments, he's put in all of his courses, and if you see, the best thing about is he has AI, he has data visualization, he has image processing, he has IoT. So these are things I feel is not usually covered in bachelor's degree, or is it that I'm old? I don't know, but at least when I was doing my bachelor's degree, these are things that weren't like common courses as part of undergrad. So these things definitely add to make your profile unique. You have like different skill sets as compared to others. Um, you also have like different projects, and then you have descriptions of all the projects. I think a lot of people do a really good job describing their projects, and I can see IoT, image processing, and all of that. It's pretty cool actually. One thing that you can do is, if this is something that you can like put in your featured section, that will be amazing. If you can't give out the code, if you can even just put the UI video, just walking through the UI of it in your featured section, that will be amazing. You can even write articles or posts about it and talk about like who are the different people who are actually using it right now. So whenever you have a lot of these projects, like putting them in the featured section will really make it stand out. um, you have honors and awards as well, and then like you're part of bunch of organizations, which is all great. Yep. Aditya's profile is like he's almost good, like just few things here and there. Yep. Do you want to go to the next profile, Ankur?
Yep, yep. One thing that I like about Aditya's profile is that he has less than a year of experience, but there's so much on his profile that you hardly feel that he does not have enough experience. And I guess that's how it should be. Even if you have projects that you have worked on during your undergrad, you should be able to add them to your LinkedIn profile. If you have any sort of volunteer experience, you should be able to add those as well. So I hope this answers the question that most of the viewers have. They're basically asking Roshni, what is the criteria on which we shortlisted profiles that we are displaying over here? So there's no such criteria. Uh, we basically wanted to have profiles in all ranges of work experience. So we started off with Midna, who has zero work experience, currently a student. Then we moved on to Amarjot, who is working and has experience of more than a year. Then we came to Aditya, who has less than a year of work experience. And next, we will move on to Utkarsh's profile. The profile is Utkarsh Nigam, and he's currently working with TCS. And it's been over 3 years since he has been working over there. Awesome. I guess this would be an interesting profile to review.
Okay. Utkarsh, I really can't see your face, I mean, I don't know if that is like because of privacy concerns that you had, but we miss your beautiful face here. But yeah, that is something that you can add if you're comfortable with adding it. I don't know if you're open to opportunities, but if you are, that's something that you can put in here as well. He's a software developer, and then he has had hands-on experience. He says he has 2 years of work experience at this point. I think you can update it to three clearly. I can see 3 years of work experience here. Um, and you've also put in like all of your skill sets, which is really nice. So you also have experience in design and in development. So that's something that they usually expect for people, above 2 years of work experience. So guys, like one pro tip in case if you have like more than 2 to 3 years of work experience in the software field, and then if you still don't have design experience, make sure you ask your manager to give you some work on that. Design is very important. So hands-on experience in design and development, that's pretty cool. You have solid programming expertise and you have more than 2 years of work experience in this. What is amazing is he's also given what he's interested in, but it's more of like a generic what you would be interested in. But in case if you are currently looking for opportunities, it would help to exactly say which domain you're more interested in and what you're looking, which domain you're looking for opportunities in. So in this case, it's pretty generic. So I think that's also fine if it's a generic software development role that you're looking for. So that's fine too. But if you want to develop your niche in a particular role, you can add that too. Um, One thing about experience that I keep telling as well, you have 3 years of experience, Utkarsh. So definitely fill in everything that you have. We want to see what you've been doing in the past 3 years. What are the different projects you've been working in? What was your contributions? You've talked about like multiple skills here. So which projects used which of the skills? How did you gain this experience? So that would be something that would be interesting to see. Also, if you're looking for opportunities, one thing that you can do is in the featured section, upload your resume. That would be of good use. Again, your education, you have your engineer's degree. In case if you want to add like, your schooling, you can add that too. It says engineer's degree. Instead of engineer's degree, if you just could have like a B.Tech or like, whatever degree you've earned, that would look more professional. So it's triple E, so I'm assuming it's gotta be B.Tech or BE. So like, it would be nice to see that updated. You have licenses and certifications, and I think this is the first that we see. This is great. Whenever you have a credential ID, that basically means that so whenever you pass a certification, you get a credential ID of sorts, and it's really nice to see that because this builds credibility to your profile. So I know for a matter of fact you're good with Azure fundamentals, you know networks and internet protocols, and you also know MATLAB programming, right? Oh, you have a bunch of other things as well, but like because all of these have the credential ID, I know he's taken this license and certification, and he has built that credibility with all of his certifications. Um, Another section that he has is skills and endorsements, but like not a lot of it. If you can like put in more tools and technologies, or even if you could put in like other skills like interpersonal skills, like management skills, because you have 3 years of work experience, those all would add as well, like some amount of leadership skills. You don't have endorsements again, so if you can get endorsements, that would be really nice. You also don't have recommendations. So because you have 3 years of work experience in the same company, I'm pretty sure you have a lot of close colleagues. So in case if you could ask someone to provide you recommendations, that would be amazing. Um, what else do we have here? Okay. Make use of the featured section in case if you have like other side projects, in case if you have like you have a lot of work experience. So I would assume like there are articles or posts that you can write about because you have like design knowledge. There's something that you would appreciate in the tech industry. You can add those as well in the featured section. So yeah, those add a little bit of personality to your profile. So yeah, that's all that I have for Utkarsh. Just fill in a bunch of experience and then like correct few things here. That's it. Yeah.
Perfect. I believe that was really insightful, and I'm sure Utkarsh would feel the same. Uh, I quickly want to ask from our viewers if they would like us to review another profile or should we jump onto the Q&A session? Because I think we're already short of time.
Yep, we have another 6 minutes, guys.
All right, another profile they say. Okay. In that case, we'll review one more profile and then we'll get to Q&A. We will definitely overshoot by a bit, but I guess that's okay. So the next profile that we'll be going to look at is of Devesh Solanki, who is a
Mm-hmm.
student of Chandigarh University, and
Mm-hmm.
he will be graduating next year. Yep, over to you.
Awesome. So first thing that I can see about Devish is his like his profile picture like deserves an A plus, and I think he's put in thought to his background as well. Would really like to know what Devish was thinking when he uploaded this background picture. Is it lighting up ideas? I don't know. Like seems pretty interesting. He has also put in he's an ex teaching assistant at Coding Ninjas, pretty amazing, one of our own. And then he's divided this section to put in his other skills as well. So that's one thing that I've been talking about as well. So if you have multiple things that actually builds your branding, you can separate it with this. Another thing is he has like a really concise about section. He is seeking to work on data driven technologies. So one advice for you, Devish, is like talk more about like what if in case if you're seeking for opportunities, talk more about what you exactly want. Um, you're skilled at data structures and machine learning and big data analytics and all of that. That is pretty cool. So yeah, put this into a different section, and then you can talk more about like where exactly you see yourself, what are the opportunities you're seeking for, and what actually makes you unique. So that is something that you can put in your about section as well. What he's done is he's very smartly he's looking for opportunities. He's put in his resume here already, so that when a recruiter is looking at this, he doesn't have to particularly reach out to Devesh for the resume. He already has it here, and I think Devesh, you're open for opportunities, so you can put in the open to work filter as well. Another thing is he has his experience section here. So yeah, looks like he has the certification, and then he's also put in like what exactly his impact was. That's great. You have your education here. In case if you have any courses that are unique, you can put that in here, and that should also tie back to why data science, machine learning, and big data is something you're skilled at. So far, I can see that you've claimed to be skilled at this, but I haven't quite seen the backing up for that. Let's scroll down and then let's see if there's something coming up. So there's licenses and certifications. So obviously you have credentials for all of this, which builds the credibility of the certifications. This is pretty cool. You have a bunch of certifications here. Um, let's see. There's one on data analytics. There's one on big data. Um, HackerRank is probably just problem solving, which is right. Not quite sure what Jigsaw Academy does. That's probably just my ignorance, but yeah. So one thing that actually backs up your claim for skill in big data and data science is probably these two certifications. So yeah, that is good. But when you say you're skilled at something, I just don't want to see like licenses and certifications. I would also like to see your projects. So in your featured section, if you could put in your GitHub profile, put in like all the data science projects you've done, machine learning projects you've done. So because you don't have work experience in this field, I'm assuming you're calling yourself skilled because you've done other projects in that apart from just doing these certifications. So definitely put in your projects. Also, like you can put in posts, you can write posts, you can write articles. You can also have like I was telling to other people, if you have like a project that you can't quite reveal the code, you can at least put the demonstration of the project over here in the media files. So there are a bunch of different things that you can do to improve the profile. Also, you're lacking the skill section. So in case if you can put in your skills in the skill section apart from just putting it here and then have people endorse it, that will be amazing. Um, Yeah, that's pretty much it for you, Devesh. Like just few things here and there.
Awesome.
Back
Thanks
to
a
you,
lot,
Ankur.
Roshni. Thank you so much. Just give me a minute.
Yep.
Yep. So, Utkarsh has already left a comment on our chat section. He says, "Hey, thanks for reviewing. Very good recommendations. I'll surely work on it." Uh, I hope everyone else keeps the same as
Thank
well.
you so much for
And
sharing your profile, Utkarsh.
yep, thank you so much. All right, let's quickly jump on to the Q&A. Everyone, please put down your questions in a chat box, and we will go through them. We already have a bunch of questions. I'll quickly pop up the first one.
Mhm.
Others wants to know, should I set the open to work visible to everyone or to just the recruiters?
Okay, that is a good question. But so I can send you the help link and I'll attach that below for the LinkedIn help. But apparently, having it visible to a public audience gets you more views and gets you more opportunities than having it just visible for recruiters. But yeah, at the least, have it visible for your recruiters. If possible, have it visible to everybody.
Yep, got it. I guess his query was mostly around if it should be visible or kept visible to everyone because he might or might not want his workplace folks to know.
Ah. That's a pretty interesting thing. So, if you're actually telling you're open to work on your LinkedIn profile, they're gonna know it anyways. So, if you want to keep it discreet, just remove it altogether. Yeah, you don't want to burn bridges with your manager before you leave. So, yeah,
Absolutely,
like don't.
absolutely. All right. Jumping on to the next question, Santosh wants to know how to create an appealing bio on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so I think there are a few things that we discussed in the about section, if you remembered. So definitely put in your skill sets. Put in what exactly makes you unique. Make sure it's just one or two paragraphs, and a lot of people actually prefer bulletin points instead of paragraphs. Both of it don't make a difference, but it's absolutely your preference. But one thing that you definitely need to put in is what you're looking for, what are your skill sets, and use industry keywords in that. If you're like a data analyst or like a business administrator, or if you're like a machine learning engineer, just put in those keywords over there. That makes a lot of difference. So two things that you need to do is put in your skill set and experience, and also put in what you're looking for in the next job opportunity, right? So those two are the things that make up your bio. To make it more interesting, you need to have interesting projects, or like interesting like patents or publications or like certifications, and all of that goes in other sections. So don't necessarily put them in the bio. Bio should just be about you, what you're looking for, and what your skill set and experiences is.
Yep, yep. Always try to keep it short so that it's easy on the eyes and everyone would want to go through it.
Yeah. What will make your profile interesting though is the featured section. So bio is not the place, featured section is probably the place.
Absolutely. All right. Moving on to the next question. Purnima wants to know. Okay, this is an interesting one. Uh, Purnima wants to know how do we know whose friend request or connection request is the one that we should be accepting on LinkedIn?
That's a very interesting question. For me personally, I think I sort of like accept people, like everyone's friend request, and this is only because I like mentor students, and a lot of people reach out to me and they're not able to message me if I don't accept their request, their connection request. But like in case most recruiters, I think will have like a recruiter tag on their profile. So if you're particularly looking to have your connection expand only to recruiters, make sure you look for that tag. Another thing that people like to do is connect to peers in the circle that they're passionate about. For example, if you're very passionate about AI, but you don't have a lot of people in your first connections who are passionate about AI, you wanna like accept their LinkedIn request. A lot of times, what I find is because I've been accepting a lot of connection requests, there are so many interesting posts and articles that people reshare, people like post, and especially if it's an industry that you're very interested in and very invested in, this really helps. I even send connection requests to like people who are very focused in particular domains. That really helps me in keeping up to date with the latest news. People share very interesting projects as well. They share demos, they share like webinars, videos, launches, like they share a lot of different things. So it depends on what you are looking for with your LinkedIn profile. Are you looking to just get opportunities? In that case, like accept only recruiters, people who have recruiters in their tag. And most often than not, what I feel is I think recruiters also have like a sponsored way of sharing their messages. So in case if you don't want anybody to reach out to you at all, just have your known people in your friends list. If you want like recruiters to reach out to you, look out for the recruiter tag in the LinkedIn profile and then accept them. But if you're invested in like a particular domain, and then if you want to expand your knowledge in that and you're hoping for people to share such content, like go forward and accept your connection request. Like it depends on what you're here looking out for in your LinkedIn profile.
Absolutely agreed. Me, however, I do not accept all the requests, but I usually end up
Mhm.
accepting them anyway. I mean, it depends. If I feel that okay, these are profiles which are relevant, or the ones that I work with, or somehow have connected, or have enough mutual connections, in that case, I might just accept.
Yep. And I think one thing that LinkedIn recommends is not to accept everybody's connection requests. I think it asks you to be selective about whose connection requests you actually accept. But me being the sort of thing that I do, I usually end up like accepting a lot of like students' connection requests. But that's just me, and I usually go back and unfriend people who like are spamming my account. But yeah, that's about it.
Yep. All right. That answers that. The next question is from Prashant Kumar. He wants to know if we could add internship experience under the work experience section. I guess absolutely yes.
Of
Why
course,
not?
yeah. And yeah, absolutely. Internship counts as work experience.
All right. The next question is from Umakant Biswal. He wants to know, can we add the certificate of Udemy, Olympiad, Coding Ninjas in LinkedIn profile?
Absolutely. I've seen a lot of people doing that. I would absolutely go for it. Upload all the certifications that you have.
Yep. And as far as Coding Ninjas is concerned, once you complete 60% in your course, you will always have an option to download a certificate. You can go ahead, download it, and upload it to your LinkedIn profile.
Extra tips.
All right. The next question is a very interesting question. Kritika wants to know, how can we ask someone to endorse our profile?
Oh, it requires partly just like going and dropping a message, just saying like, hey, very passively, hey, do you think you can endorse me for this skill? So one thing that I feel is a lot of, and I think I covered that in like my accomplishment section as well. A lot of people are very, reserved, and they don't like to showcase things that much. They don't like requesting for things. So what I've seen is people who like move very quickly in their career always reach out for things that they want to. This is a little bit extrapolated for just asking an endorsement, but what I'm trying to say is if you want something, you can always reach out to people and ask them. Like friends that you worked with on projects, colleagues that you work with on a day-to-day basis. If you just ask them to endorse you, that's they're not going to say no to that. They're definitely going to go and endorse it. It's probably just that little message that will give them a nudge to go and endorse you. But another thing is, if someone is like, you've asked them, and if they're not like endorsing your skill, just let it be. Like, you can ask other people who would probably know you better, and then who can endorse that skill for you. You can also, like, I think there is a way that people can endorse your skill, but also like prefer not to be shown on your endorsement list. You can do that as well, but I have no idea why you would do that. That is an option though. But yeah, just message people and ask them to like endorse your skill, and of course ask that only to people who know you. Like, people who don't know you obviously won't endorse your skill.
Yep, absolutely. And I would say folks who are still in the undergrad colleges, they have an advantage over here. They can always reach out to their friends, their classmates, their peers, whoever there are, and just politely request them to endorse it. Yep. Okay. So coming on to the next question, and I guess this is one that a lot of people are asking and want to know. Priti asks, does LinkedIn profile make a huge impact on recruiters? And there is a very similar question. Another person is asking, do big companies like Walmart, Google, do people from these companies see your LinkedIn profile before selecting you? Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So I think there is an alternate way of looking into this. Instead of recruiters like finding you and then going to your LinkedIn profile and looking at you, the other way of thinking about it is uh, recruiters actually reach out to you through your LinkedIn profile. So that has happened a lot for me. A lot of recruiters reach out to me on my LinkedIn profile. They send me personal messages and then ask me if I'm interested in this job. Interview process, I've gotten like tons of messages on that. So like, and I'm talking about like top tier companies. It could be like Amazon or like Facebook or Uber or Lyft. All these different companies, basically, like the recruiters reach out to you based on your experience and like, based on the skill sets you have, and the recruiters basically send you a personal message and ask you if you'd like to interview with them. So yeah, like, I think LinkedIn profile also serves as a way for you to get an opportunity more than like recruiters looking at your LinkedIn profile after you've been given an opportunity for interview.
Absolutely. I guess that adds a very, very good perspective to this. And I would like to add something here as well, being on the other side and, having scheduled a couple of interviews. Uh, so most of the times I, shy away from going through the resume once I have, screened the candidates initially. So right before the interview, like let's say 15 minutes, 20 minutes before the interview, I would quickly search for the person on LinkedIn, go through the profile to see, to have some idea about the person and then jump into the interview. So I guess that's another way that recruiters or your interviewer specifically would, want to know you besides your profile, besides your resume. So it's always good to keep it updated.
I agree, especially when you're open to looking for opportunities.
Yep, yep. I'll quickly check if we have more questions. All right. I don't see a lot of questions, just too many requests asking for a few more profile reviews, which is something that we cannot do right now. But thank you so much, everyone. We will definitely get back to you and have such sessions more often. We will we really want to review each and every profile that we have received, but we can't do that in one session. We will definitely try to, know, have more such sessions as I mentioned before. But it was an absolute pleasure having all of you and especially Roshni. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's very early in the morning over there, but thank you so much for your time. Um,
Thank you so much, Ankur, and thank you so much for all of you joining today.
Yeah, and before we wrap up, there's a surprise announcement that we have for all of you. We will be coming up with two more videos. They will be pre-recorded, but yeah, they will give you more insights into how to, make good use of your LinkedIn profile as well as LinkedIn as a job search platform. So via these videos, you would get to know how to apply for jobs, how to optimize your job searches, how to prepare for soft skill questions, bunch of stuff and a lot of interesting insights that you would otherwise not find anywhere. So keep checking our YouTube channel. We will have those videos up there really soon. And yep, I guess that's it from our side. Anything that you would like to add, Roshni?
No, I am pretty excited for the two-part LinkedIn series as well. It's pretty amazing. It comes in two parts and it has a ton of information. Yeah, like Ankur was mentioning, it's gonna give you insights about like your salary estimation. It's gonna give you insights about how to search for jobs, how to search for jobs better, and then it's gonna give you a ton of information on like career insights and how to reach out to your network, how to ask for referral, and a lot of interesting things. I'm super excited for those videos as well.
Same here, same here. All right then. Good night, everyone in India and everyone outside who are still, going to be spending the rest of the day like Roshni. Have a good day. All
Cool.
right, take care,
Thank you
everyone.
so much,
Bye.
guys.
Yeah.
Bye bye.